Hey guys, how's your Wednesday?
Hey Scott, how's my audio? Brad, how's your audio?
I don't know. You sound pretty good to me. How about myself?
You sound great to me. Can you imagine if our wives felt that way?
I don't even want to go there.
I know, but how do I come up with this stuff so good freestyle? It's kind of unbelievable. Um, Ladies and gentlemen, thank you so much for participating in our Q&A webinar. You guys get to talk to two of very long-term founding members of the Trade Ideas team, myself and Brad. We've been through several wars together, and we are really the two executives that are behind the Trade Ideas Skunk Works projects. And we're going to talk to you a little bit about that, give you a little bit of a showcase, okay? And it's not going to be a very, very long Q&A webinar today, but we do have some very interesting things to tell you. So before we begin, Brad, let's do our own disclaimer, making sure for disclaiming purposes that we are completely disclaimed. We'd like to disclaim that any information here is claimed as any kind of investment advice because we are not registered investment advisors. So all of the information is disclaimed, and we are simply telling it to you because we're having a chat with you for educational purposes only, quote, unquote. Now, Brad, did I do a good job disclaiming?
You did. You were going on a little long, so we just moved
Dang
on.
it.
Sorry, man.
We're such a litigious society, you never know. Okay, so Trade Ideas, you guys know the drill. We are the leaders in self-directed investment technology. We created Trade Ideas in 2001, 22 years ago. We are so old, but yet very handsome still. And our whole company is made with our investment. Brad, can't get off the investment disclaimer. Our company software is made by our own software team, and it's all built in the US of A. We don't outsource anything. So we're very proud of that. And because of that, we've been on the Inc. 5000 for 5 years in a row now. And you guys are the ones who are our venture capitalists. You provide us with the funds through your subscriptions to continue and develop the world's coolest software, which we're going to talk to you about.
And by the way, that's Inc. 5000 fastest growing companies. I don't think that's listed here.
I'm still stuck on the disclaimer, man. Okay. Guys, we're going to confirm Brad, sometimes it's the same way between you and I. You know, like how you have no idea what I put in a webinar, and then I'm like, I have no idea what you put in a webinar presentation.
I know. I think this is a bit of an older slide. This is not
right? No, I love it. No, go back. Yes.
Yeah. This is 720. So right, it's a while ago.
But I want to tell you why I love it. Okay. I love it because what you're showcasing here, and by the way, I mean, you're showcasing a lot of interesting information in general terms. Number one, there's a lot of volatility in the stock market. If you look at PGY now, this is not a long-term hold. It's impossible to know that from that.
Yeah, where is it trading, like $1 right now or something like that?
Gosh. Yes. And that is why you have to be very cognizant of risk. We talk about this all the time. Okay, you have to be prepared for the risk management of trading, the risk management, and everyone's risk management is completely different. It's your own footprint, fingerprint, genetic code. You may be able to lose $1,000 a day. Someone else may be able to lose $100,000 in a day, and it's nothing to them. Okay, those are two completely different footprints of risk management, but what we're showing you here is momentum, okay? And what we're saying is that we can identify momentum faster than the other guys that you subscribe to or potentially are thinking about subscribing to because we have a better view, a more dynamic view of the relative strength. And you can see here in Brad's chart, PGY at that day, this is in July the 20th, was making a gigantic move, okay? And by the way, Brad, do me a quick favor.
Yep.
And for those that, you know, even though right now it's trading at $1.93, let's just say, hypothetically speaking, you're a swing trader and you're like, these trade ideas, guys, I love them so much and their technology, and you bought this thing at $7.66. Let's just hypothetically say, Brad, where would you have been, let's say, 4 days after that to 10?
Well, I would need to pull up a real-time chart to take a look.
Please, I want you, feel free.
All right. Bring up a little chart here. And let's go PGY. I'm going to make it a daily.
Please. So where would you have been after 720?
Oh my, thing went up to 30.
So yes, so while you may be all like, oh my God, the trade ideas, it tells you stuff, it's at 7 whatever, and then it goes to $1. And yes, ladies and gentlemen, I mean, volatility, World War III, all these other things. People think that there's something that can predict the future. There can't. You're basically setting yourself up for continued momentum. And in this case, Brad, at $7.66, did trade ideas highlight a stock that had continued momentum?
Well, I mean, it absolutely did.
So you could have actually bought
this earlier, and it kept finding it, at least through the races on this particular day of 720. You know, it kept finding this, and you can see by the winner's lane right here, it found it, you know, 5 times, and these are 10-minute races, so there's plenty of opportunity.
Absolutely. And that's going to bleed into another part of our presentation, but I'm simply trying to showcase that while it did reverse, and it reversed hard, the momentum that trade ideas caught here was completely on the money. Okay, and this is where we brought it up. It was very distinct, okay, in terms of both relative volume and price gain. But you see that move, the $4.96 move, that's nothing compared to what it did again for the next like week or so, if not further, like through August, let's say 2nd. So from 10, 11 days, when did it peak there? August 2nd, right, Brad, I nailed that. So, okay, so this is what we're trying to catch. We are the surfers. How long the wave is, once again, is a risk parameter that you have to assess for your own, but we're just trying to showcase what the race technology does and why it's so critical to you. Brad, please do me a favor. In our other place, I pulled up the tweet that I would like you to bring up in this context. No.
You want me to make it big?
Nah, this one. That's not the one. Oh, yeah, that is the one. Yeah, make it big, please.
First of all, of course, the races, you guys all know this is the top tool in
What about the audio? You want me to have that running?
No, you can cut the audio. In fact, just pause it for a minute. Okay, so notice the stock at the top, and then let's look at SOBR. Okay. So let's bring up PEPG, Brad, if you can today. Do me a favor. Let's see here. Let the thing play a little bit, because I think I want to showcase that I was specifically talking about it. So here I am. I'm about to click on it. Okay, pause right there, Brad. Do me a favor, please. So, yeah, thank you. So, ladies and gentlemen, once again, remember, go back to our presentation, Brad, of PowerPoint. Just we're going to flip back and forth there.
Yes.
Sometimes I trip Brad.
Well, this is actually, sorry, yeah, because this is the same, same one.
Okay, yeah, bring that up. So PGY, we showed you at 766 because it made itself very relevant on the race. In fact, how many races did it win, Brad?
That was the 5th win right there.
The 5th win. Maybe an interesting thing to keep an eye on. Now minimize that and bring back the, sorry, not minimize, but go back to the tweet.
FinTech. the stock that is winning the most.
Right, let's keep going a little. Yeah, right there. Okay, so notice how many times PEPG won, Brad?
5 times.
5 times. So at the time that, and by the way, this is why you guys should, if you're not following @Trade Ideas on Twitter, you're also missing out, because I'm showcasing this because I'm trying to get you to see what we're doing here. And remember, we are in the science of momentum and wave detection. We're just sort of like, Brad, we're like earthquake seismologists.
That's exactly what we are. Just on the stock market.
On the stock market. Brad, you're brilliant. But what I love about this stuff, and we do this, and very few people I think can really do what we're about to do, because we didn't notice. I put this on Twitter. The reason I wanted to show you, because it has a timestamp on it. You can see when I put it out there. You can see on the clock, if we displayed it really good, when this was done. And Brad, so at 9:17, if you hadn't even done any of your own trade idea stuff, you're just following me on Twitter, Dan brings up this PEPG, and just say, hypothetically speaking, you're interested in what the heck is going on, because it was up quite a bit. Where did PEPG end up?
Yeah, so I mean, it looks like it hit a high of around 1285, and it settled at the end of the day right here at the 1093.
Right, and how far away is 1093 from 917?
Almost $2.
Right, and is that a high percentage in terms of, you know, a daily move? I mean, in terms of returns
That's like
on investment?
It's almost a 20% move.
Right, and that was a stock that I believe was up like 74% at exactly this point.
Yeah, that's
so
a 20% move getting in here in the low 9s, right? So
right, missing a lot of it, by the way, because what we're trying to say is, imagine your perspective, and I want you guys to try this. I want you to think about it, because it can be this simple. Open up this explosive winners race. Everybody has it on their channel. And simulate yourself buying the first time something wins twice. That's when you start, like maybe buy 500 shares just to start feeling the P&L, and watch what happens to your trading. Watch what happens. You're not going to believe the results. You're going to be like, how and why did Dan tell me this for free?
yeah, you know, there's something like this happening every day, even if the market's down significantly. You know, there's always these kind of extraordinary moves.
And what Brad is saying is so critical, because it emotionally detaches you from the SPY, the Fed. My gosh, I'm on social media, and I am, you know, because I'm also part of the marketing department. I'm part of every department. Brad, do I clean up the garbage? I don't know.
You're all over the place, kid.
I'm everywhere. And I see the dialogue, right? And I see so many people talking about the Qs, the spiders, the Tesla, the Apple. And I feel really sad. Part of me, I mean, I'm excited because I want to help them, but sad because, I mean, it's like when these things aren't doing, then you've got to do like super fancy options type of trades. Like, I'm going to straddle this reverse condor. I'm like, is that a dish? Do we cook that? Is that a simmer? How do you make a reverse condor? When all of this, as Brad said, it happens every single day. And we're showing it. We're the only ones that show it to you this way. Listen carefully. We are the only ones. And your game will change 100% if you're following this methodology. Start practicing the simple, you know, like, Brad, do you remember P90X? Do you know what that is? How good is their branding?
Yeah, that was a workout routine, was it not?
Exactly. Long time ago, early 2000s. A lot of you probably remember that. Who remembers P90X? Do you know why you try P90X? Well, because you see the dude doing it, and he's all ripped up, and he communicates well, and you try. But in order to, like, you can't just buy the P90X. A P90X is not. It's not going to work. You out for it. You have to do it. There's some funny thing about the stock market, Brad, where people think like, okay, I'm going to buy this P90X. You bring it home. It's like, all right, start working. How come I'm still fat?
Probably just a little bit of human nature involved there.
Absolutely. But I'm trying to, you know, I'm trying to relate this. As Don Henley says, we can do it innuendo. We can dance and sing. I'm trying to show you a thing. It's almost the lyrics, Brad, but not exactly. And my point here is the way to apply this technology is in simulated mode. And for any of you here that are also our affiliates, blog about this. This is the way. It is the way without all the options bullshit, without all the Fed bullshit, spy. I'm sorry, I have to use that term because that is the truth. If you find yourself tweeting about the Fed, you're lost. There's nothing that you can do about what the Fed's going to do, and you should not be paying attention to it because it's a waste of your energy. What you should be doing is what we're telling you here. Surfing the proper big waves, which we're going to identify for you. Now, Brad, now that we've shown this part of it, then you know I love the way it all connects, as you know, Bradley. We're going to show you a feature that we've recently just added that's going to make it much more easier for you to surf it in a visual way if Brad could possibly make sure that his grayed out buy and sell buttons.
I just had Brokerage Plus closed. You know, you can, I had it closed, just, I don't know, I was doing something earlier, but all you need to do is hit this little sim button right here to load up the simulated Brokerage Plus in simulated mode, and it'll load up your Brokerage Plus. So
I mean,
it's
Brad's
not,
like, Brad, you are like the guys at NORAD on War Games with your Brokerage Plus, and I dig that. Brad is way more advanced than I am, by the way. I mean, if you know the kind of crap he's doing, and I'm not talking about on the computer, other stuff too, he can build a fence. I saw it.
sometimes simple is good. And yeah, I tend to kind of get away from that sometimes, but yeah.
But what we're going to do here is, since you guys are here at the Q&A webinar, we want to show you the cool stuff that's about to come out. What Brad's going to showcase is the same strategy that we previously showed you on 720 with PEG, if that's the right. Notice they're so close, Brad, PEPG, PEG. Are there any coincidences? I don't think so. So
I don't know.
let me show you what Brad's going to do. He's going to click the buy button, and then Brad, describe what you see when you click it.
Yeah, so we've just brought in a little dotted horizontal line to make it a little bit easier for you once you hit the buy or sell button to exactly define where you want to put that target order. So in this case, if I want to put a buy stop and have it.
No. You're going to listen to me because we're trying to make a really good example here. No, you're going to go up higher to like right at the above that candle. Yes, right there, 1303. I like the numerology because you know you remove the 0, you got the 33, the deep state likes it, everything. So many good things about. So he clicks instantly, and he's got the buy order waiting and the stop loss together. Now, mind you, Brad, obviously, you know, maybe you think to yourself, you know what I'm going to do? I don't need to have exactly. Let's move it. By the way, you know, I want to talk to our dev guys because it does that a little bit. It tries to mess with you. It's like it does a little head fake, you know?
A little head fake.
Yeah. All right. So Brad just grabbed his stop. By the way, there's tool tips that tell you what's going on there as well. See right there on there, stop order. It's the one that it's the one that's initiated if that crosses. And Brad, hover on the stop just so they can see what it says, if that's possible.
I'm sorry, what am I hovering on?
The red line, just same tooltip.
Oh yeah.
So stop order to sell X amount of shares at 9 if it goes there. So let me explain what Brad just demonstrated in specifically a more detailed fashion. Brad, if you could, can you go back to the slide on PEG?
Sure.
Because as I play chess, I like to make sure people understand that there's a strategy here, and it's the presentation. We're done with the Twitter. Twitter, you can kill it.
Oh, sorry.
Yeah, sorry. PEG is the one from Oh, sorry, PGY. My bad. Okay, let's make it big. Remember the lesson of the day there is that obviously PGY at that time, Brad, looked what? Incredibly overbought. What kind of an idiot would buy a stock that's up 183%, right? Wrong. So what
Well,
Brad,
I mean, you don't enter in willy-nilly. You know, you do have to have a little bit of mindset about you.
I am saying that the astute technicians and the valuationists and all these other people that are throwing crap at your mind in the stock market, most of the regulars would tell you, hey, this is overbought. But as we said, it's possible they were right, just, you know,
Well, a
they
stock
were,
can stay overbought for quite some time too. Just because it's overbought doesn't mean it's going to peel over and start, selling off.
right, but I don't even like those terms, because what does that really mean? It just puts a bias in your head, okay? And what Brad did relative to PGY here is Brad put a buy order in at 8 and a stop around like 550. See what I'm saying?
Yeah, kind of similar in nature, right?
Yeah, very similar. So what I'm trying to show you is that everything we've been saying, we're repeating the process. We're not trying to like constantly inundate you with new things to do. This is a rinse and repeat. So he saw this thing, it was up 5. It had won 5 races. So it had the most momentum. And we showcased it to you. We're showcasing on the slide. Now let's go back to today and the software.
Mm-hmm.
And in this particular case, we are doing the exact literal same thing. If it doesn't go there, Brad, are we at all do we have any problems if it doesn't go up to 13? Absolutely
If it doesn't go
not.
up to 13, we're not going to get executed. It will have to at least hit that threshold for that order to be active.
Correct. And when it does, there's nothing wrong with adjusting your stop higher, all the things that you can do visually, Brad, by just simply click on the stop and just move it around a little bit so that everyone can see how easy it is. Boom, maybe a little closer.
So
Like,
the
for
interesting
example,
thing, I would say one thing though, like when that order is initially placed out here and we've got our buy, if your sell stop is going to be that far away, that's 7 points away.
yeah, no, that's not what you would do. But
You need to
in
make
fact,
sure
but
that
you
you're
can do
sized
something else.
appropriately so you can take that loss if it actually goes, or move your stop to something that would be more reasonable for a loss. So it's really important to have that in your mind.
Move it right at 10. And what you're saying then, visually speaking, and notice we don't really like, I personally don't like to put indicator bias into my mind. I'm very visual. The recent supply and demand wave, right? If it bottoms here and goes back up to our buy point, then there's lots of other momentum, and the trough of the wave is right around where we're saying. In fact, we're giving it a little bit more room. But imagine this does what the example did in PYG on the presentation on September 20th. That means that this stock will go to around 45, potentially, before possibly going way back down lower. Again, potentially. But do you all see what we're trying to say? It's the same process. There's no need for crazy indicators, confirmations. You're not even thinking about the spiders. None of that stuff is at all relevant, because you're looking for name-specific plays that have the most momentum, and you're not interested in diving into the reason, because whatever the reason is, remember what happened in PYG. It went to 30 and then now it's at 2. All these things are relative, which means they change, or variable, just depending on whatever happens, people interpret them differently. So we provide you the freedom, the best surfboard to catch the waves. We have, Brad, the surfboard that I've always wanted. You know which one that is? That's the one with the jets.
With the
so
what?
That when you paddle, you know how hard it is to paddle out, Brad.
The one with the little motor?
Especially if you're not very flexible in your back. So this is what we're showing you. Brad, let's click on a couple of other stocks and just showcase the better visuals of placing stops. And again, you can make every kind of interpretation you want on the chart. Look at this beautiful chart here. And this one, Brad, maybe because you think like, okay, for example, Brad is saying here, you know what, today's gigantic day of up 500 in the on the Dow. Maybe tomorrow there's going to be a pullback because the market's.
Yeah, I like doing this a lot because, even if I don't get hit, it's really no harm, no foul. There's so many opportunities out there. You don't need to go, I need to trade HLIT and I need to make my money in HLIT today. Doing something like this gives me the opportunity to catch it on a pullback if I think it still has some upside potential. And then I, put
But Brad, let's do this a little multifaceted, shall we? And now that you've got your orders in, but set an alert now for 13, let's say 90. Just right click in there and say set an alert for 1390. So we're showing you again, kind of like the multiple golf clubs in a golf bag, right? Depending on the distance, you may need a pitching wedge. Depending on the distance, you may need a 3-wood. Stock market is
probably
very
wouldn't
simple.
go that high. I would probably even just do something like, if the thing just wants to have some continuation in the morning, just let me know about it.
Okay, perfect.
night-
Better example. I was just kind of going for more momentum, but perfect. What's the 1346? Is that the high on the chart? Is that what that is?
No, that's actually the last price. You're see, this is a daily chart, and because it's a
So-
daily chart, you don't see the after hours action. You do see the last price, but this is what's happened after hours, not on a lot of volume. So it's not necessarily going to stay there. You know, you never know.
Well, I think that's why I initially said 1390, because you know you're then above, like the more momentum. That's all I was saying.
Yeah, you're right.
Right. But the point being here, notice the multi-golf club thing. So Brad is ready for the pullback. He's not necessarily ready to jump in on the momentum continuation, but he will know.
I will know. I'll get my price alert. So once that threshold's crossed, I'm going to have a pop-up. I'm going to have an audio notification. I can pull it up off that screen and see if I want to do something with it.
That's
Look at the size and then decide.
That's the process. It's really that simple. Notice that we're not talking about configuration. What we're doing here is we're trying to train your eyes. Brad, click on another stock and just put MRSN, for example, up there. And yeah, MRSN. Okay, here's another one. I love these types of plays because you can see, like, it's sort of, to me, Brad, is more of like the fingerprint, right? So it pulled off, there was this big pullback, but it's starting to maybe recover. This is another one. Maybe you put in an order to buy it, again, same kind of concept, on a pullback, potentially. How about like at 655? Right there. And move the price down. So you're looking to buy a pullback, but be alerted at 725.
So it's also important to know, so this candle here, which looks like a monster candle, really strong, big and green, really important to know that that was done only on 10 shares. So take it for what it's worth. It doesn't necessarily indicate anything.
And Brad knows that because of the blue 10 in the volume.
Yeah, I know that because the blue 10 also, when I hover over that candle, my information is visible up at the top right here. I can see there are just 10 shares that it's looking at.
Yep. Okay. Let's do one more stock. And again, it doesn't matter which one. Like that one always. Bed Bath & Beyond. It's another interesting play, and Brad's already very, okay, let's switch to GLW. Perfect. Okay, GLW. How much would you love to catch this kind of a pullback reversal? Now notice it tried to do that around 9.5 or so. Like where that was
right here.
Yeah, that was a really nice one, but kind of, you know,
It failed pretty quickly.
Yeah, it came down with everything. But if you catch these types of bottoms, look at the 7-1 area, Brad. Like right here. So this can be done. This is a tactic, a trading style. You catch these moves, and I mean, it went from, what is that, 30 to 38? That's a pretty big move, percentage-wise, certainly. So once again, Brad, do the same thing. Put in a buy order wherever you want on whichever chart. And I sometimes like to do it on the dailies, exactly as Brad's doing it. There you go. Do you guys see the simplicity of this methodology? Let's move the stop below the low. So you're exiting. This way you're allowing yourself to, if the volatility really takes you out, let it take you out. But you're giving it a little bit more wiggle because it has so much potential. The potential and the wiggle kind of work together. So Brad, I have to say, this to me is the most critical component of the methodology. that we've been communicating for the last, I mean, probably 6 months, that there's a simple process. It's a rinse, repeat, and you must use paper trading to try it. Even me and Brad both, who have very active trading accounts, we both manage our 401ks. We are in the stock market trading. Hold on one moment. We're in stock market trading, and we still do practice trading. And by practice trading, as we've said before many, many times, this is the range. Okay, you're a golfer, you want to improve your performance, you are at the range. That's what Brad's doing, except his range, you know, Brad, if they did this, imagine you had a course that was the range. Do you see what we're talking about? We've taken it to another level. You know how many times Brad and I have played golf, and I said, Brad, I could just take the range with us on the golf course. I would be pro. Well, this is as close as you can get, because you're placing orders, you're placing on charts, you're just not doing it with real money, but the P&L will be real. The profit and loss will be identical, and your learning from it is that far more enhanced. That is the game, ladies and gentlemen. Rinse, repeat.
And it gives you a great opportunity to try a variety of different styles in your trading. You know, you can have a variety of different accounts right here. You can set up multiple simulated accounts. You can have a long account, a short account. You can separate it any way you want and really try different methodologies out. See how successful you are.
You can have just a day trading account, and you can have just a swing trading account. There's so many things that we allow you to do to excel at the task of turning opportunity detection into actual trading success. And I do honestly believe we're by far the best at it. Because we in our trade ideas, you know, I myself am one of the pioneers of the original day trading revolution of the mid-90s. I traded more stock before the year 2000 than most of you guys have traded now, ever. I'm not trying to brag. I'm just saying, Brad, we were swinging.
Battle hard.
Yeah, and we learned a lot from that in terms of P&L management, what you need to navigate the different markets that are available. I mean, we traded through Greenspan and rational exuberance, the dot-com bubble, the Russian default, the long-term capital management. We've seen all of that stuff, and of course 2008, and
don't forget now, because it's tricky too.
Oh, and now that's what I'm saying. But to us, having done that, right, it gives us this ability to convey the knowledge that we've learned to you through our software. That's why it looks the way it is, and then why we're so different from TradingView and TrendSpider and other people, because I don't think any of those guys that run that have put on the volume that we've put on. That's the difference. I guarantee it. And that's why we're the leaders in this space, why what I'm saying shouldn't be that difficult for you to process. And we're showing you how to do it. So Brad, let's switch now to some Q&A, and then we'll finish up the presentation. We showed you what we wanted to showcase.
Yeah, guys, if you have any questions, fire them off in the question panel, and we'll get to those. For those of you that haven't noticed, we have added some functionality over this last year. We've added this symbol plus column in here. If you're not aware of how to manipulate it, you just right-click on the header right here, and you can create a symbol plus. It can be a logo only, no logo, symbol with a logo, and you can have it off to where it's like it normally was back in the day. So you can really customize your interface just with that right-click right there, going symbol plus, and adding a little bit more color to it.
Just trying to make it easier for you guys to read and connect it to the brand through the
Dan
logo.
was highlighting the Explosive Winners channel earlier, and I really do recommend it. We've done some great things here with this particular race. This race happens to find really great movers, momentum movers throughout the day. So, you know, make yourself aware of that Explosive Movers channel. Like I just died somehow.
You know, do you guys know that the computers know when Brad and I do a Q&A? And we can be doing this stuff for like together working for, I don't know, however long. I've never seen, by the way, Brad, I've never seen your computer do this once.
I
For
am
that
dead
thousand,
crazy right now.
and by the way, it's just Brad's computer. That's all.
But I'm an expert. I can get back.
That's right. We do that a lot. So no questions. That means you guys understand everything that we're doing. We like that. Brad, let's run through the final presentation slides and we'll call it an early Q&A.
All right.
As we mentioned before, we're a subscription service and you guys are our venture capitalists. We're grateful for it. Let your friends know that we have a promo code since all of you are subscribers. Fast data is 15% off the first month or a year off of trade ideas. Support, 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 and more support, whether it's our online Q&A or instruction manual or YouTube channel. We have every resource you need to dive into whichever aspect of trade ideas most interests you. But of course, as we just tried to showcase you can keep it very, very simple with our races. So here, please visit us at trade-ideas.com/live.
This is actually a great opportunity for you guys if you have some questions on the software, how to do something. This is an opportunity to interact live here, and they'll go through and show you how to set something up. So just 9 a.m. Pacific time, 12 p.m. Eastern time.
So Brad, one of our audience members, Robert Nelson, asked the question, would you recommend a margin account? So Robert, that's actually a good question. And let me tell you the pluses and the minuses. So I trade both a margin account and a non-margin account. With a margin account, the brokerage is making money off of your margin by lending you buying power that you would otherwise not have. So you can get into positions that you might have otherwise not be able to get into. That's an advantage because if you're good, then you can maximize the good. The problem is if you're bad, it has the same effect. You'll lose more by being able to get into more things and it'll shorten your trading lifespan. So it really depends on what it is that you want to do. Can you handle yourself? And I would ask that the first account you really need to get is the Trade Ideas Simulator trading account. And if you use that for 5 or 6 months and see that you are getting good and you like what you're seeing, then I would start answering the question that you asked. And also remember that just because you have a margin account, that doesn't mean you have to use it. So again, you can be within your regular buying power without tapping into the margin account. But hopefully you understand what I'm saying, that there's benefits if you're good, but also if you're bad, your lifespan will be shorter. Barry, who I don't know if Barry, was he with us today, Brad?
He's not. No, he didn't make it today.
Okay, that's fine. But Barry does a trading room with lots of other very good Trade Ideas users, and anyone here who's interested should definitely take a look at that and try it out, trade-ideas.com/trading room. We not only do simulator trading, but we of course connect to actual brokerages so that all the stuff that you're learning in sim, when you start executing, it's the same interface. That's very, very important. And we do this with interactive brokerage, trade-ideas.com, IBKR, and also with E-Trade as our zero commission broker. So David just asked if we're going to get the web-based version upgraded, and David, that's a great question. The answer is yes. So we're working on that big time in Skunkworks. We are going to have the web-based version and really be the new version. And whether you're looking at it through Trade Ideas Pro or the web, it's going to be HTML5, and the race technology that Brad and I showed you in the demo. Brad, is that in the new beta or the new Trade Ideas version, the HTML races?
No, the HTML races are going to be in the very next one. So it'll be out released, I would say Monday of next week.
Right, so the races have a kind of slightly different look and feel, and that technology is what's going to power all of our web-based and mobile. We're going very big in mobile and web-based. So David,
Yeah,
yes.
one of the reasons we stopped updating our web version and adding functionality to it is because, like Dan's saying, we're completely redoing it. So we're just not in a position right now to offer it out. But timeline, 4 to 6 months, it'll be complete. But we're going to be incrementally releasing components of it.
Right, and you guys will all get to be able to test it out through Trade Ideas Pro, because the charts will become web-based and all that stuff. Again, eventually the web-based tech that you see now will disappear, and it'll just be one tech. Whether you're using it inside a wrapper of an application or a browser, it'll all be the same tech, and you'll be able to use it on a Mac as well. So we are very active on social media. You should definitely follow at Trade Ideas on Twitter. I don't think it's Trade Ideas LLC. We might need to correct that. It's just at Trade Ideas. Like us on all the books and the snaps and the every other, and the TikToks and the YouTubes and everywhere. Simon, I don't know that stuff. Yeah, all of that stuff, David. Market Explorer too. So Brad, Lex asked a really good question. You want to answer him? Maybe show him. We can pop back in there real quick.
Yeah, what's the question?
How can we select which accounts the buy sell buttons on the chart port to?
Sure. All right, so in Brokerage Plus, you want to go ahead and open up a new strategies tab. I've got one open down here. And we have two strategies. If you'll notice on this column here, default chart long strategy, default chart short strategy, you see there are two that are on. So if I go to this one right here and I edit it, this is where I can really define what my order details are going to be. So I'm here doing $5,000 worth of stock. I could change that to a number of shares. I could do it a risk-based stop, a risk-based order based on the stop loss. You can put in your time in force, what kind of order is going out to. Is it a market, a limit delta? So you put all that in there and you get that all set up. And I also, with my buy and sell buttons, I'm also putting a stop out there. If it's a buy strategy, it's putting the stop at the low of the day. If it's a sell strategy, it's putting the stop at the high of the day. And that's because I'm using the stop loss filter. In this case, it's above the low. It'll be different. It'll be below the high if I'm looking for the short. So that's how you can incorporate all of it, change it. And then, of course, don't forget to make your name reflective of what it is. So if I change my value to, say, something like $2,000, I'd want to make sure that my label corresponds to that.
So Brad, do me a favor. When you go to the chart and you right click on the buttons, can't you access some of this from there?
Yes, you can. Let me pull up.
That's another, so Lex, that's one of the other ways you can quickly, again, what Brad's showing you is kind of the full schematic, but let's say you're just on the chart, which is where everybody is. Right click.
So you would right click and you would edit your chart by strategy. Essentially what that's going to do is it's going to open up the strategies tab, take you right to it, take you right to this little dialog box where you can go ahead and tell it exactly what you want to do. And this is the part where it's saying I'm transacting in my simulated trading account, but I could go ahead and pick for my other accounts. Or like I was kind of showing earlier, I didn't talk about it, but you could also open up a new account tab right here. If you right click in this, you can add a new simulated trading account. So this is where you would add another account, give yourself some capital to work with, and you can have multiple accounts here.
Yeah, we're trying to make this, and again, we know that there's a little bit of this is maybe the most complicated part of Trade Ideas. We're working underneath the scenes to really make this a lot easier, and it will be, so have no doubt. But all of the functionality you have, you can do. And also notice on the execution panel where the Brad has, where it says account, that's another one where you can just dial that in.
Yeah, if I had it specified to a particular account here, my order entry panel is going to be smart, and if I had another one here where I, had a different position, it's going to also know exactly where I am. But if I click on something here, it's going to load up Merrill into both of them because it knows this is my Merrill account. So it's pretty smart and it's thinking about where you're clicking.
Yep. I think that is all that we have, Brad, and I think we're done. Really enjoyed this.
Thanks very much.
Scott, do you want to give it the goodbye?
Sounds all good. Remember, if you have any questions, email info@trade-ideas.com, and find us on YouTube, Trade Ideas, Facebook, Trade Ideas Pro. We've got some YouTube, some Twitter handles as well, Trade Ideas LLC, QuantBot, TISDUG. The recording will be up later on tonight or tomorrow, so keep an eye out for an email reminder about how to find it. That's it. Have a good one.
Take care.